Machi, welcome to Firelink. My name is Nick Landry, the editor-in-chief of Second Wind, joined by Casey Wosu on this
Hey, y'all.
episode 74 of Firelink. And boy, do we have a good show for you today. I think I got it.
By
I think
good.
I got everything. Marty got everything. I think
I mean, no,
Marty has
it was almost, I could not tell the difference, especially when you
exactly.
hachied. Like, I've
Right.
never, it's such a good hachi, also followed by the machi. Amazing.
And my my closet down there is like half open. So,
Did you prop that open on purpose?
No, I just noticed it when I looked at my camera and I was like, oh, that's half open. So, it works. But welcome, everybody, to episode 74 of Firelink. Today, we are once again, yes, I can increase my microphone doing that first, but talking about Xbox. Doing Xbox things.
Yeah, this is kind of exactly Xbox's thing, right? Like, they start to get a bit of momentum, some good press. People start to, get in on their side, and they just kick all that goodwill straight down the toilet.
I'm glad Marty's not here because like he would like just whiplash us for us. But I just the amount of whiplash that comes from Xbox almost every 4 months. They do a showcase, then there's bad news. Then they do a showcase, then there's bad news. Another showcase, bad news. It's like it's such a frustrating publisher company to cover. Because it just never feels like anything's stable there. So to kind of go over the news a little bit, Microsoft had major layoffs this week. Basically laid off over 9,000 people across the entire company, not just Xbox. I think a lot of people have kind of got that construed. I think if they laid off 9,000 people at Xbox, we'd have a much bigger story to talk about here.
That would have to be like all of Xbox.
Pretty much all of Xbox.
Like, that's so many people. Like, good God.
Yep. There's been studio closures, game cancellations, and lots of layoffs. And I'll tell you what, I have a lot of connections on LinkedIn with people that have worked at Microsoft and Xbox for 5-10 plus years. Not just like juniors or QA. Like a lot of senior talent was let go. Their director of indie portfolio was let go. Some PR people that I know that have worked at Turn 10 for going on 10 years were let go. Lots of senior managers let go. Just a lot of like legacy talent people that worked at Xbox were let go this week. Kind of a shocking degree. I don't think we're going to see like the full effects of how many people at higher level positions they just got rid of. Not to mention, main guy from Rare has left. He was either let go or resigned, I think, after they canceled Everwild. ZeniMax Online lost their studio director of 15 plus years after they canceled their game. So Everwild was canceled under Rare. That game's kind of been in development limbo for 7-8 years now.
Yeah.
Reports have been saying it was getting there, but clearly not fast enough or whatever happened. But Phil Spencer was just on a podcast 5 months ago saying, "Hey, it looks good. I was just there. I saw it. Looks good. Now it's gone." So I don't know.
I want to.
That's gone too.
Keep going through the games. I want to get back to the Phil Spencer thing.
We'll get there.
After a little while,
So Perfect Dark's gone too, with the initiative completely closed down. And then ZeniMax Online was working on a major new MMO that Jason Schreier just released a little report on a little bit ago at Bloomberg. That's also been let go as well. John Romero apparently had a signed deal with Xbox for their new game at Romero Games. They have now had to let go of the entire studio because that deal is no longer available to them. And it sounds like Contraband from Avalanche also is axed because they removed the trailers from their Xbox pages.
But there's no like public or confirmation of
because
that one had like of everything that they've actually said they've closed down. Contraband had the least amount of information, so it wouldn't surprise me. But
and then the larger overall story is like the thing that everybody's focusing on, including me, and Unpack tomorrow is this memo Phil Spencer puts out is, "Hey, we're doing great. Xbox is doing great. We have more players. We have more games on the roadmap. We have all this great stuff coming. But by the way, you're fired." and it sounds like it's not entirely his fault, but we'll talk about it later why I'm putting some of that blame at his feet. But Microsoft is going all in on AI with like $80 billion investment. So of course, money's got to come from somewhere for that, even though they're very profitable. So
like this,
just a clusterfuck.
Yeah, this absolutely reeks of the exact same sort of just bullheaded, just bad leadership. Like of all the people who have been axed across all of Microsoft, I'd be very curious to know how many of those people aren't creatives, like aren't folks who actually work on stuff and are just anyone above them, like at the executive level, because it seems insane to me why this keeps happening. And it's always going to be insane to me because I guess I can't think in the same way like these sort of heartless corporate pencil pushers do. If I'm going to, if I'm going to use that stern language, but but it's just like the thing with Phil Spencer is like he really did kind of bring Xbox back from the brink and was very much a kind of beloved figurehead of the brand, very player focused, very kind of understanding of like what it is that players want out of their gaming experience. And even as these sort of bad news stories keep rolling in and like they make the big deals and then the big deals kind of have these bad repercussions, Phil Spencer still somehow seems, at least for me, to avoid a lot of the heaviest of criticism for these actions. Like it always feels like there's another weight elsewhere in the company at large that is kind of pulling him or forcing him to do these things. So like I'm really curious when you say you do want to rest some of this blame at his feet. Like I'm really curious like what is the argument for that? Because like a lot of things at Xbox have been mismanaged. But publicly at least it always seems like Phil Spencer is kind of on the right side of these things, and it's always like, oh well, they made me do this or we had to do this because of the market, blah blah blah. Like it always kind of seems like it's not actually his fault. But yeah, I don't know anymore. Like I'm very conflicted in terms of like him as a leader.
So I have two versions of this. I have one that's the realistic version, and I have the one of here's a storybook version of what the fuck I want to happen. I'm gonna give you that. I'm gonna give you that version first because I think it's kind of funny. But
okay,
dude, Phil Spencer makes $10 million a year. He is the CEO of Xbox, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yes, he's not top dog at Microsoft or anything, but he has power. He has power within Xbox. For once, at one of these companies, whoever is in charge, if you care about your teams and the work you do there that much, and you are making $10 million a year, I think you should be putting yourself on the line to say, no, this is stupid. I'm not going to stand for these decisions. I quit if you make these decisions. And they might replace him with somebody else, but at least like people would know that like, hey, you know what? He had our backs all the way till the end. That's my storybook
version.
Yeah,
that's a storybook version. Yeah, okay. Fair enough.
So we like, yes. Would I be able to give up $10 million? I don't know.
Yeah, like I'm not gonna sit here on some high horse and be like,
it's very easy to say that.
Yeah, sure. So
yes.
But that's like pie in the sky. Absolutely get it.
Right. More realistic version is I think Xbox had like we've had discussions about Xbox so many times on here, and like we've gone kind of back and forth of yeah, we like what they're doing. No, we don't like what they're doing. Game Pass good, Game Pass bad, whatever.
Yeah.
But what I think and I kind of wrote about this in the Impact for tomorrow. I think like one of the trends that I feel like is very visible with Xbox, and it started back with 343 Industries before they became Halo Studios, is that these studios have been given a lot of freedom, which is great, but too much freedom, and how many studios can you look at in Xbox's portfolio history that have toiled away on projects for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years and then canceled it? You've put all that investment in there, right? And it's like the strategy that Xbox seems to be going with right now that I think we're still getting going while they're kind of clearing out these older projects or smaller, more well-scoped projects like what you're seeing with Obsidian. So you have Avowed, you have Grounded 2, you have Outer Worlds 2, which all those games seem to be made in like aside from Avowed, maybe 2 or 3 years, normal dev cycles.
Sure, kind of like a more double A styled venture.
Yeah, and like just you need to keep people coming back to Game Pass, so you can't spend 7 to 8 years on games if you want them to keep replenishing Game Pass with new things to keep people subscribed. So I think the MMO, I think Everwild, I think Perfect Dark are some of those older projects that don't fit the model that they currently have. Now, that doesn't excuse their cancellations or going out and saying 5 months ago, like, hey, Everwild's looking great, and also like Jason Schreier's report on the ZeniMax Online game was like executives were just there a few months ago in March saying how great the game looked, and it's like,
it's stuff like that. Yeah, it's stuff like that that really confuses me as to like what it is that's going on. Like that doesn't feel like any of this was planned. Like what sort of hiccup occurred that made them kind of hit this emergency button that said flush all this stuff down the toilet?
I think it's people above Phil Spencer saying, look how much money we spent on this project and look how much more we have to spend, and nope, we're done. We're done investing in it.
But that same, like, because I get what you're saying, like this is a model that we've kind of been preaching about for a long time now. Like, hey, stop making games so big. You can make a really good game for a lot less money. That message seems to finally starting to be getting through to some of the bigger publishers. And if Xbox is starting to implement that, that is a good thing. But I guess I just don't understand why you've already sunk however many tens of hundreds of millions into these bigger things. Why couldn't those be scoped down in a way that would at least let you release it so that, all that talent doesn't get lost? Like that is still, like, those developers are still the people who would give you the ability to make those other smaller scope AA games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so like, it seems like such a waste.
I just, a lot of those, we've been in that environment where corporate decisions just don't make sense. We can show them growth year over year over year, just like we did at Escapist, and they're like, it's not fast enough, it's not good enough, you got to do more, and it's like, where do you go, right? And that's what makes me so frustrated about Xbox, and we're on the outside looking in, and it's frustrating for Xbox to be like, what is the goal here? What, like, you say in one breath you're going to give the teams the time they need to make their games, then you cancel them. You make good games like Hi-Fi Rush, then you close the studio. When I look at South of Midnight or Avowed or even Double Fine, it's like, are you going to be around for another game? Did South of Midnight do well enough? Did Avowed do well enough? I don't like, none of these really studios feel on solid ground. And Turn 10, people were kind of saying like Forza, their latest Forza, was kind of a flop for them, didn't really perform all that well, still reviewed well, but Turn 10 has been one of their most consistent studios for years.
Turn 10 hasn't made a game that's been scored below a 9, I want to say, like, ever.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that is one of their most prestigious studios.
Yeah, and now they've cut 50% of the studio, and like, where you can't just replace that talent. Why not? Turn 10 is a very talented studio. Let them make something else other than Forza Motorsport if it's not working. But then we just kill the studio, and so 3 years from now we're going to turn around. Oh, we need a new racing studio. Let's build a new one. It's like, I don't get it. People are pointing towards Activision Blizzard and need to make all that money back. Like, Xbox is making money. Somebody in the comments said they're not profitable, but like, I was just reading a report that Xbox is in the black, and that's hugely due to Activision Blizzard money and King money and all that.
Sure.
Whether they separate that out or not, I don't know. This, Activision, its own line item on their charts, but
yeah, like we're there. Well, yeah, because we got like stuff from Sledgehammer, like that was Indian Activision Blizzard stuff too. So yeah, like it was literally anything under that umbrella, they completely just trimmed. So and it has to, like, none of this seems whatsoever connected to any of the actual projects. Like, sure, Perfect Dark was in development hell for, like, sure, we haven't heard anything from Concord in a long time, but especially for Perfect Dark, a Contraband, yeah, sorry. Especially for Perfect Dark, it was only a year ago if even that they finally showed something. So like it was moving. If they were going to cut and destroy and like, you know, close out anything, why not be the things that had stalled, like Contraband? Like it doesn't feel like there's a rhyme or reason to this. And like it rarely does nowadays. It's always just this sort of blanket cut to meet some arbitrary line somewhere. And the resulting the aftermath afterwards is always like what? I don't know at this point. Because this keeps happening. Yeah. And the industry is trying its best to keep trotting along, and like we as, you know, viewers of it and enjoyers of the products and the games and the arts that comes out of it keep trucking along and trying to like give praise and recognition to the stuff that does make it out and is good. But like all of the corpses that are left behind, like at like when is enough?
I don't know. I you know, a lot of these stories are similar, whether you look at EA, Ubisoft, Sony, whatever. But like like Microsoft just has endless amounts of money. It just long-term planning for Xbox. Like, yeah, I agree with you partially. Like, you know, you kind of have to feel bad for Phil Spencer. It's like he's trying to build a strategy and get things moving. Things are moving, and then he gets his legs cut out from under him over and over and over again.
That's kind of what it seems
like. Corporate management.
Like, it's almost like he's the only one. Well, like from him down, the Xbox team does have a strategy and a plan and a goal. But then ever so often, because these things take time, it feels like there's a behemoth that comes and kind of pushes their Jenga tower over.
Yep, and that's, I mean, if you go on LinkedIn and look at Xbox devs, like they say Microsoft just gets too involved too often, even though they say they're hands-free. So I don't know. It's hard to put, like, I don't think there is any answer to this. Like, and the way I wrote Unpack this week is basically just question after question after question after question, because that's all I have when it comes to Xbox. Nothing makes sense. Like, Microsoft has all this money they could invest in Xbox. You want to build the #1 games publisher on the planet. You have the money to do it. Why aren't you doing it? Well, because we want to invest in AI. Okay, well, we went out and bought all these teams, and we bought them for the portfolio. Let's just be honest here. We didn't buy them for the teams. We bought them so we have control of Call of Duty and World of Warcraft and all this stuff. But who's going to make those things if you keep firing the people that make them? And then, you know, like, 3 weeks, and then they keep going back to the same old IP, just like the other big publishers do. We're going back to Halo. Like, I love Halo, but I don't know if Halo has a place in 2025, 2026.
Yeah, they definitely haven't.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Even if it's good, like, is it going to sell these days? I don't know. Is it going to sell 10 million copies like they wanted to? I don't think so. I really don't. Gears of War in 2026, like, is that going to be a big mega hit franchise anymore?
Yeah.
To the expectations that they want it to be, because I think that's where things have gotten so crazy. Is like Halo and Gears of War are big franchises, right? But they are not Fortnite. They are not Call of Duty.
Mm-hmm.
They're just not. And I feel like all these corporations want their franchises to be the franchise. They want Fallout to be the mega hit franchise, and it just never will be. It's not mainstream enough like Call of Duty or Fortnite. And like it came out from EA, right? Like that report about EA is going out right now that EA wants 100 million players for Battlefield 6. And I have a post that's going kind of popular. I was like, all right, EA execs, why don't you go find those players? Where are they? It's like the same thing when we would be told, get 100 million page views this month. Okay, where? Where do you want me to get those people from? Just completely unrealistic expectations.
Where did that number come from? That's my
even David Goldfarb, who was head of the Battlefield franchise for 3 and Bad Company 2 and Bad Company 1, I believe. He was like on Twitter and he's like, the fuck are they talking about? The best Battlefield's ever done is like 30 million.
Like the best, like what is the #1 most played game ever? Like Roblox or something?
Minecraft, maybe?
I think like 100 million players. That's a number that maybe those two franchises have hit. And GTA. The gap, yeah, like something like GTA, right? Like just the biggest. The gap between those and the next biggest thing is actually insane. Like, it's not like a cascading trade-off. Those things are in the stratosphere, and then everyone else is fighting for the tens of millions scraps, which is also a rather big achievement for mega hit games. And then there's another gulf where you got like, the hundreds of thousands of players.
Yeah.
Not multi-hundreds of thousands, hundreds of thousands. Like, the gaps are huge.
Yep.
And like, this is information that can easily be obtained by people at this level. They have analysts who come and give them presentations about these sorts of numbers, and they will give them recommendations as to what they should shoot for. So it is insane, actually insane, that anyone with power in a company like this would say something that's stupid out of their mouth. That is actively stupid and infuriating.
And welcome to every corporate media meeting I had while running The Escapist.
Jesus Christ.
Why can't you get 10 million page views this month? I don't know. If I knew that, wouldn't we have 10 million page views? Why can't you get $30,000 on YouTube this month? Well, I don't know. Can you control the CPMs and the people viewing our videos? If you have the answers, why aren't you running the channel and making the videos? It's just like, God, it's frustrating reading these stories, having been in those meetings with executives that would come in and say, well, we like, I literally had, I think I've told this story before, but back in Enthusiast Gaming, I had an executive come in, and you know what people were paid freelance rates at Enthusiast Gaming, like $2 an article on Nintendo Enthusiast and other sites. And he comes in, this COO comes in, and he goes, we hire good people, I'm saying it quote verbatim, we hire good people so that I can sit on my ass and collect a paycheck. And he said it jokingly, but everybody in the room just stopped, looked at him, and said, like, just, you could see it in their eyes, you can go eat shit. Like, that's how these people think. They think that
just
you
completely just, they're just not in the same headspace as Eddie. Yeah, like, it's sad, really.
Yeah, and then when they don't get the results they want, they get to leave, and then they go take another job at another company because they put on their resume that we built this team that did X amount of numbers. I built this team. Like, no, you fucking didn't. You didn't do shit. You sat in meetings in calls all day. So, like, when these people throw out numbers, they don't have any idea how to actually get to those numbers. They have no idea. And so, like, I can only.
But they think it's good. It's good management to just say that. Like their ability to say the insane number is what makes the thing happen, and so they're good at their job. I don't want to full on rant about this because I feel like we have been, to be honest. But I do want to talk a little bit about the AI focus, because there were a couple of comments as well that were bringing it up. And it does seem inevitable right now that every big industry is just funneling tons and tons of money into AI. Like, what kind of AI and for what purpose? I don't think anyone is actually quite sure of what they intend to use it for, but like, it's such a buzzword in that space that they don't care. Like, just whoever can tell them that they're doing AI for them, they'll give them all the money right now to make it happen. So like, I feel like, and I kind of hope that this will all fucking collapse, like kind of how VR has, like with the metaverse stuff, because that just did not go anywhere. But the worry with AI is that it catches on, at least their version of AI. Like, there's nothing wrong with using AI as a tool, but like none of these companies that are chasing this dream, I don't think they intend to use it this way. They think it will replace their workers. They think it will make them an infinite amount of money for no labor. And like, I don't see that.
Like, I'm not overly knowledgeable about what all practical uses they're doing for AI, because like what the AI that we see on a daily basis is, you know, dumbass photos from the State Department about, immigrants. That's what I see on a daily basis these days.
Yeah.
But the example I can give that is like a legit thing that is happening in the media space is using AI to scrape websites to basically fill out SEO without any person actually having to do the work. And so it's like basically somebody will type in, here's my intro paragraph, and then AI fills in all the details of the guide that you want, and then here's my conclusion paragraph, and that's how you kind of get around the system of there's a little bit of originality in there, just like you would if you were trying to cheat on this paper at school, right?
Because that's pretty much what it sounds like.
Yeah, it's well, that's exactly what it sounds like. And like, I've had discussions with people online about like, they think AI movies are going to take over Hollywood. And I'm like, is anybody with a brain going to watch this stuff and actually think it's good? And if they do, it's because it looks pretty and they don't care about dialogue or anything, right?
My worry is like there is a huge not even subsection. There's a huge section of just the populace who don't care, who will just go and watch the thing. Like I've seen reality TV, like like
oh man,
like this stuff gets
don't
around.
Make me feel worse about life is already.
And like that, so it's that sort of thing that's my worry. Like that is who these companies are trying to placate with this stuff, and it might work in that vein, but like it will be bad. Like that's the thing. Like the fear that this will take actual creativity over, or like we'll get the good stuff from this. I don't believe that at all. It will make stuff for sure, but that stuff will be bad. But there will be an audience who kind of goes to see it, and that's what worries me.
Uses that I can already see for it that I'm sure are already happening are like, we need to use motion array for a lot of like B-roll footage, right? We need footage of cities and people and all that. These, not saying motion array is doing it or anything like that. I don't think they do. But, and if they do, we're not going to use them anymore. But a company like that could pop up, right, and just fill their entire website with AI generated B-roll footage.
Sure, like
you end up paying for because you don't know it's real or not real. You don't know it's not real. And so
I would hope that's something they'd have to disclose. Because
I think it's a lot of like, to me, the usage of AI for a lot of this stuff is cutting corners and all that. And like, and you can talk to developers that like AI can help with prototyping. Like you want to find out that your gameplay loop is good and fun, and
or you want to visualize a shot.
If you can make that quicker,
or something,
well, if you can make that quicker, throwing some AI code in there to get the basic fundamentals running. You need a character moving. You need a character that can shoot, and then you need a level generated through procedural generation. Like I don't know. Like I don't know how I feel about that. Even is that practical use of AI to does the gameplay loop that I have in my head work, and then scrap all that and actually go make the thing? I don't know. Like there's a lot of gray areas around it. I think I'm too cynical about AI to ever want to even say I'm for that or anything. I think like the entire industry is fucking ghoulish. But I can see the practical use in some sense for something like that.
Yeah, like folks will need to get their hands dirty to figure out where it fits in. But like it has to be the creators. It has to be the auteurs or whatever who care about the stuff that's being made. And that's just not what's happening. Like
no, it's not the
creators.
Grabs.
Yeah, it's not the creators who have the money to invest in this tech. It's the big guys. And they don't like creators. They hate having to pay creators for whatever reason. Like creators make them money, so I don't understand the animosity.
The creators are hard to work with. As somebody that does both the business and creative side, creators can be very hard to work with.
I guess, yeah. I mean, is that not just?
That is just people. Yep, I would never replace it for AI. Just to be clear, audience, before anybody yells at me. Like, hey, tech bros make me upset. But yeah,
like we are we're very much in an actual dystopia, but we are definitely on the precipice of another one. So like this is like
very quickly heading towards a real life Terminator. I just saw a video of like a robot soccer league. It's not long before they can kick a ball hard enough to kill you.
Yeah.
So and I see all those like videos from what's that like really advanced robot company,
Boston Dynamics.
Yes, and I see videos of that thing,
the
like
robot
doing,
dogs
like,
and stuff.
kick flips. Yeah, they see the robot
parkour,
doing kick flips and parkour
robot.
And I'm like, that thing's gonna end up chasing after me one day, and I'm I'm not going to
And
be able to
you
outrun
will
it.
not outbeat it. Nope.
Yeah. Like, I don't think there's a Achilles wire to cut. So, but yeah, getting back to Xbox, you know, we went on the tangent there because Xbox. What the reports are saying is that like Microsoft is putting tons and tons of funding into AI, lots of funding in AI, and pulling.
Mm-hmm.
The speculation is that they're pulling money out of Xbox to do that. We don't know if that's true or not. That's just what the reporting is right now. But
I mean, it does make sense because that like we said, like the sort of completely arbitrary cuts seem to have come suddenly and for some mysterious purpose. This sort of fits those puzzle pieces. Like I think it's an easy conclusion to draw.
Yeah. So I want to get to a couple Patreon questions that kind of tie into our discussion here.
Mm-hmm.
So Wing Potato asked, why do, and also this is thanks to our Patreon. Fuck, I forgot to do Marty's whole, support us on Patreon, because that's how we get to make a podcast like this. And also, if you're at the $5 tier, you get to submit questions every week. Questions, comments, or concerns every week. Maybe not concerns. I don't really want to address those on a podcast, but, you do you.
So if the concern is really funny, maybe you will.
Yeah, that's fair. A Wing Potato says, why does Phil Spencer have a job and is Xbox desperately aping Netflix with Game Pass, a sustainable way to run a business? So I kind of mentioned this earlier, where I feel like I'm souring a bit on the Game Pass vision. I'm souring on subscriptions. Not our subscription. Our subscription's good.
Nice save.
Subscriptions in general for things that you would normally pay for. Let me put it that way, because you normally wouldn't pay for a YouTube video, right? So you're supporting the creator. We make the stuff. We're not going to go anywhere because a video doesn't perform well. We will go somewhere because you're not supporting us. I think I made that make sense. Mostly.
Sure.
I don't know. Whatever. Just support us on Patreon. It's cool. But with Game Pass, I think one of the reasons I'm souring on it a little bit is because of the smoke and mirrors that Xbox kind of plays with a lot, where they're not really forthcoming about success and what that means. And so social media has pointed out quite a bit that, like when Avowed comes out or Doom the Dark Ages comes out or whatever, they're not saying how many copies it sold or anything like that. They're saying how many players it has. And I'm starting to, before I was like, well, let me be clear. I still don't think you should focus on player counts. But when you say 3 million people have played Doom the Dark Ages, what does that mean? Did they just start the game and then not play it? Did they stay subscribed to Game Pass for it? Did they buy it? What did they do to get in there? And so when you go look at Doom the Dark Ages on Steam and look at the user reviews on there, the count, it is only 15,000. That's not good for a Doom game. When you look at Doom Eternal and Doom 2016, both of those games have over 100,000 reviews. Those numbers are very evident of how it's selling. And that tells me it's not selling great.
I mean, that it is definitely a clue worth scrutinizing. But I like Doom Eternal and Doom 2016 before that. Those were before Xbox had them under their umbrella, right?
Yeah.
So those games did not launch day and date on Game Pass.
Right.
So it could be that the bulk of players for it are subscribed to Game Pass. So, because I do think, like, especially after the Activision Blizzard acquisition, they did see an uptick of subscribers to Game Pass.
Sure. But we don't, like, that's the problem. That was like, you know how fickle people are about using Steam on PC. How many PC players are actually subscribed to Game Pass and downloading and playing games through Game Pass? Like that's the question, and it's hard to say. Yeah, and that's why it's
hard to say.
I'm sure the studios hopefully know that data and how many people are actually playing their games. But that's my question. Is like Steam, when you see a game that has sold 100,000 copies on Steam or 100,000 reviews on Steam, I feel like most people see that and are like, oh, I'm interested in that. It seems like a lot of people are really enjoying this game. I should probably pick it up too. Like Schedule 1's a good example of that. I had no idea what that game was. All of a sudden, 200,000 reviews on Steam. Yeah, and it's top played game on Steam. Like that looks interesting, and my friends are like, we should check that out. Doom the Dark Ages never topped any of that. and I haven't seen that many people talking about it post-release like I did 2016 in Eternal. So I don't know. I'm just speculating, but like I don't know. Is Game Pass actually hurting the sales of these games more than Microsoft is letting on? And I think yes. I'm
like
starting to think yes.
I have not given up the dream of what Game Pass promised just yet.
Yeah.
Like I definitely understand like the worry. But I do think there are other factors for especially for Doom Dark Ages in particular. Like I don't think this game is as good as the last two either.
Oh yeah, sure.
So like I think that could be a contributing factor as well in terms of like the difference of like staying power. Like if Xbox did have like a braggadocious sort of like, oh, look how many people are playing our game, like that might have been a number of people who checked it out, and then those people checked out. Like they were like, this isn't for me. It's not what I want. So like, the Steam numbers are going to reflect that sort of thing. Yeah. But is that's Game Pass's fault?
I don't. But that's the thing. I don't. That's why I don't know how these studios are actually doing, because Hellblade's numbers didn't crack. I don't even think they cracked 10,000.
Was also bad in my mind, so like that tracks for me.
But Avowed didn't crack. I think Avowed cracked less than 30,000. South of Midnight, I think.
Yeah, that kind of came 15. And went.
Yeah, and so like I just don't know how these studios are performing, and what the expectations of Xbox are, and is it getting people to Game Pass? Is it selling games? Is it all of the above? Well, if that's the case, like, why did Rare have any layoffs at all when Sea of Thieves has been the number one selling game on PlayStation when it came out on PlayStation? And clearly,
right? Yeah, because well again, like, because that's not the metric they're doing cuts based on, right? It's on scrape the money. We got to put AI robots to work. Like that's all it is, right?
Yeah, so, that's just like my thing is like I can't imagine. I can, because we literally lived it. I can't I can't imagine working at a company like Xbox and being told in one meeting, like the ZeniMax Online example, wow, this game looks great. We're excited about this. Let's keep going. And then less than 5 months later, your entire life is upended and the game is canceled and you're fired.
Like it's like that's the worst.
It's like you can't. Like I could not be creative, and I wasn't able to be creative back at the Escapists under that same kind of pressure.
Mm-hmm.
Of, are we going to have a job next week because some executive decided they're not willing to invest us anymore. That, and I wasn't making a $100 million game. I'm just writing articles and YouTube videos, and I still couldn't be creatively there to make and unpacked every week like I am right now, because it's just constant stress. You just don't know if am I wasting my time working on all this, because tomorrow it's gone. And 7 years of your life. Can you imagine that? 7 years of your life on a project like that.
It's
and being told it's
awful.
it's good, and then ripped away, and you're done, and you're going home. That's fucking nuts to me. Like
and zero recourse. Like those those people will lock you out of everything you've come to know and be familiar with. For those,
you don't get to say goodbye. You're locked out of your Slack. You just thrown out on your ass like it didn't matter. 7 years of your life. Like, it's upsetting to think about.
It's awful. Yeah. Like, I've been laid off before. Like before working in games, like I've been just regular laid off, and like it is abrupt. It is scary. It sucks. So like my heart definitely goes out to all the people that this is happening to over and over again. And like, we work in games. I am absolutely stressed about this happening to me at some point. Like, it is a constant fear. But it's not even just this industry. Like, it's any industry. Like my older brother worked at Twitter when Musk took it over. Like, he got axed. Like, it's scary all over the goddamn place.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I don't have like great. This is a great show in terms of like vibes. Like, we'll just say that up front. Cause like this is just really shitty news. And I'm such a big fan of Xbox. Like, I love that brand. I love a lot of the titles they have under their umbrella. I was so excited for Perfect Dark. Like, Perfect Dark is one of my favorite games of all time. And God, did they just screw that up? Like, it's so upsetting.
I feel that way. I feel that way about all the major publishers right now. They're just recycling the same brands over and over again. You never know if a game is actually going to make it to market. You know, I'm Mass Effect is one of those games that's being worked on, and I don't think we'll ever see it. I just don't.
Yeah, like it's like it's a thing. Like, oh, this was big once, so we have the brand. Like, they love their IP and brand, and so we got to make it big again. And like, it's not the brand, it's the people. You guys need to invest in the creators to make either the brand or something new pop. Like, it's not the brand. It is not just the IP.
Not relevant at all to any other news that came out this week about a certain former stomping grounds of ours. Look, it's an Eric over on Patreon said, do we think that the collapse of AAA or an industry-wide change is more likely to happen? Is AAA too big to fail? I think so, and rather than a collapse, we'll see AAA becoming locked into their for-sure moneymakers, and any original IP will be forced to work within the framework live we've seen with movies and TV. The age of the sneaky IP innovation is hopefully coming. I think so. This is something I've been thinking about a lot this week with the Xbox news and previous news and news before that and news before that at all EA, Ubisoft, whoever it is. I do think like the AAA industry has crashed. I think it's crashed completely. Well, like, yeah, we're getting Call of Duty Black Ops 7 this year. Like, Jesus Christ.
Again, like there's sort of these sort of mega tent poles. But then, like everyone else who's trying to chase that dragon, it doesn't seem like they're finding much success at all.
No, and I think in general, like AAA as we knew it crashed. I think independent AAA is kind of coming up. But, I mean, a lot of those games have had their funding pulled over the last year, too. Depending on who they signed with or whatever. So I think, I did that interview with Kepler for my Patreon exclusive podcast. And I just think that's the future. You're seeing it in games media. Like, there's not many big games media outlets left. Everybody's gone and made their own independent outlets now. You've seen the same thing in game development. Most of the people, like the names that at studios, have either all been laid off or have gone and made their own studios because they were laid off. Like, and that's like when you think about Xbox and like all the senior leadership they had, think about like all those people that started the initiative. Like, they
were supposed to be like they
were supposed to be a quadruple A,
like a super team,
and all of that leadership was gone within 2 years, I think. And Rare just lost a lot of their, some of their oldest talent. ZeniMax just lost some of their oldest talent. 343 or Halo Studios is not many old name talent there anymore.
Yeah, they've been
Dice, BioWare
for decades now.
Yeah, all these Ubisoft, like a lot of the main Ubisoft studios don't have their old leaders there anymore, which that's not inherently a bad thing if you train people up, but I mean, you don't get to train people up when you're just laid off and let go like that. They have to start over.
Yeah.
So I think the AAA industry, like I think it has crashed quietly.
Well, I think this is what a crash looks like. Is like
maybe not a crash in the financial sense because they're still making shit tons of money, but I think crash of creativity is a better way to put it.
But I think that I don't know, because like it's like the spire like keeps growing up, but then like pieces fall off the side and it's skinnier and skinnier, but it's still really freaking tall. But so I don't know if this strategy works out where, because it has slimmed down, because they've axed all these other developers, if someone inside will still make something that then hits big. Like that seems like it may happen, but only because like this is an industry fueled by passion, and someone somewhere still cares about what they do, and so they will just get something across the line that will luckily, like purely by luck, pass all of these dev checks and make it to the finish line, and then hit big with the public. And like I don't think when that happens it was ever a planned strategy. Like I don't think any exec knew that like knows that will be the case. Yeah. But it will happen just based on the fact that like that's what creatives in this industry do. Like they work with their hearts, and they make a thing that they want to play, and it turns out that thing is what a lot of people want to play. So like it kind of sucks because again, like these people at the top just get really effing lucky and continue to reap the benefits.
I think AAA is due for almost a full reset. Somebody posted a thread on social media that kind of like put it or I think it was on LinkedIn. I saw it, put it very much in perspective for like how bloated everything has gotten. So I don't remember. I think it was the Xbox 360 generation where they showed like we got Halo 3, Halo Reach, Halo ODST, Halo 4, all in one generation. We got Last of Us Uncharted 1, 2, and 3, all in one generation. Mm-hmm. We got how many Call of Duties in one, or we get Call of Duty every year. That's
all Mass Effects were on one console.
All the Mass Effects were one generation. So like, where did it become that like it was okay to spend 7-8 years on a game? And so
because of those teraflops, man. they put too many teraflops on the consoles, and then it took too long to fit them all in the box, and this is the result.
But I mean, like that's just kind of like it seemed like things were a lot better at those times when we weren't spending that much time on games and that much money, and projects were able to come out at a decent pace. It's kind of funny, like you think about it, like the technology has gotten so much better, but now it takes so much longer to make games. Isn't that weird?
Yeah, it's and like Nintendo, the reason they apparently aren't going through any of this is because they seem to figure that out like very early on. They lost that race in terms of chasing power with the other big guys and realized this isn't sustainable, at least not for us. So let's go in a different direction. And they did. And they have been number one ever since. So the fact that the other two guys have never even attempted to emulate something closer to that, like just focus on the core of the gameplay, not the spectacle, the power. Like the thing that games do that is so unique is the interactivity, but it's all about spectacle and visuals with these bigger companies. And that just costs a ton of money and adds nothing to the actual gameplay.
Yeah. I'm very excited for Ghost of Yotei. Mm-hmm. But
Yotei, yeah.
Very pretty open world, but am I going to explore even 75% of it? Probably not. How big does your flowery grassland really need to be?
Yeah, like I like the first one, but I did think it was a rather shallow gameplay experience with a really good story and presentation. And that is Sony's bag, is they spend a ton of money on making the best looking video game experience, but I don't think they're the best video games oftentimes.
Fair enough. Mr. Tickerton says, I hope the silver lining to this is that the shorter development on smaller projects with a smaller reveal to release window becomes more popular. Both these projects have been in development. They're referring to Perfect Dark and Everwild. So both of these projects have been in development for 6 to 7+ years with not much of anything to show for it. I mean, I think you're already seeing that. I mean, Kepler does that. Expedition 33 was like announced and released within 6 months. Is that correct? Eric can fact check me on that, or check.
Like they release, like they reveal what the game is, and then it's out within 6 months.
Yeah.
You're saying?
Yeah. I think a lot of like the smaller publishers and all that are not doing 2-3 year long marketing cycles. I think they're being a lot smarter about how much money they spend on marketing, because a game, how many TV commercials do you really need to get the game out there?
I mean, when you're trying to recoup hundreds of millions
TV
of dollars
commercials anymore, are people like at the Super Bowl drinking beer and watching football? Are you really waiting on the screen for a Call of Duty commercial while you're there? Not really. Like, I know that game.
Yeah.
By the way, here's my Bud Light. I don't know.
Can you play as a Bud Light in Call of Duty yet?
Not yet. I mean, you can play as Beavis and Butthead now, so. I don't know. I do think games, like, I think the trend, I think I already wrote about that. The trend is already seeing games getting smaller again and more focused. I think we are long overdue for that. I think a good example is like 2K with Mafia: The Old Country, not an open world game, linear, $50. They know what it is, story driven game, good graphics, great. Like, it doesn't need to be $80. We'll see if more people buy it. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It on the flip side, that does seem like it might be suffering from a lack of advertising, because I don't know that there are a lot of people who know that that's even a thing coming out soon. So I don't know. It's hard to say what's gonna become of these smaller attempts from the bigger studios, because they need to be a bit more strategic. They have some of the ability to push these cheaper to make games to a wider audience.
Well, that's like what blows my mind. Like, I was originally, for this week on Unpacked, I was before the Xbox news broke, I was originally writing about Peak, a game that you talked about last week, I think.
Yeah.
Playing that. Stupid fun game made in 6 months by Landfall Games and Aggro Crap Games together. Sold 2 million plus copies already. Like, AAA studios, you have 1,000 people making games. Go make a 30-person team within your studio. Go make a game. Peak. Why aren't they making these little games and putting them out there and raking in the money? Like,
like what's that thing? Like some like venture capitalist companies, like when like the app market was like a new thing. Venture capitalists would fund incubation houses or something like that, right? Like, they pay like just a bunch of devs to go live together and just come up with shit.
Yeah.
And then like maybe someone would have the new hot thing. Like, that's what that show Silicon Valley was all about, like an incubation house. And they actually came up with like a thing. Like, yeah, why? Is that a bad idea? I don't know. I'm not a businessman, but is that a bad idea to have a bunch of small teams in your rather large studio work on several concurrent things, and then the stuff that comes out that has legs gets a little more funding, a little more personnel until it's a finished thing? But you don't have to give it the $100 million treatment. Just make the concept into a thing and see how it does out in the market.
Gotta have that tax write-off if it fails. I feel like it's kind of funny. Like, you think back to when Ubisoft was doing all their little indie games. Like, Grow Up was one of those climb games before climb games are a big thing now.
Yeah, that was a big deal for some reason.
Yeah,
people really like that.
Yeah, ISS worked out great for Lost Crown. Lost Crown sold well. Jay did a whole video on this. Just like, it was 1 million plus copies. If it wasn't Ubisoft, that would have been huge for anybody else. That's the problem.
Yeah, that was the problem. Is that I can't comment, but there was another big problem with that.
Yeah. I don't really know where to go to close the Xbox conversation, because I feel like Gamescom is in next month. Are we going to get another Xbox showcase with a bunch of games that look really cool? And then 3 months after that, as we hit the end of the quarter, more layoffs? Is that what this is going to be every quarter? Like, that's the thing. Like, now that, since I worked in the corporate side of things for a while back at the Escapists, like, I know the corporate timeline now. And anytime we got to the end of a quarter, I knew something bad was going to happen. At the end of every 3 months. At the end of every 3 months, started getting tense, started getting stressed out. Just my brain started going like, well, what's coming? Something's getting cut. I know the company isn't making the money they need. What's happening? So, like, that's got to be what it feels like for everybody working at a shareholder driven company these days. Like, just
or less.
It's all frustrating. Eric's leaving notes in our thing. He's typing to me as we're podcasting.
Yeah, I've not been reading these.
This is Nick, a counterpoint for game development that could be a decent example of Hello Games. How long they updated No Man's Sky without budget issues or firing devs. It's also No Man's Sky, Eric. I don't think that's a model you want to follow.
Did they not have money from Sony though to do what they were doing?
They had money from Sony, yeah, and a lot of people bought the game, and I don't remember if refunds were a big thing when No Man's Sky.
No, I don't think so. Like, I think a lot of people were salty and
I would never
like, it'll be great one day.
I wouldn't like, I know a lot of people are like, No Man's Sky is great and all that, but I would never ever use No Man's Sky as an example of how to do it right.
of a thing you should
that
do. Yeah,
you either fix that game or you never get to make another game again because you lied so badly that nobody will ever trust you again.
Didn't he announce a new game like several years ago that was also like just as
2 years ago? Yeah, and it's like
he was like, oh, this new game is gonna be yeah, he said it's gonna be like an actual planet-sized place that's fully wild. Learned literally nothing from the first time.
Maybe they did. I don't know. All right, let's go on. Let's get through some super chats, and then we'll move on to what we've been playing. We'll try to keep this podcast. I guess I was gonna say short and sweet, but we usually end at 7:30. We're right on track for that. So, S6 donated 10 Australian dollars earlier. Says rest in peace. Oh my god, I need food. Rest in peace, actors Michael Madsen and Kenneth Colley. Michael was a Quentin Tarantino favorite, plus voice work in Dishonored. Kenneth was a fan favorite Admiral Piet in the original Star Wars trilogy. Piet or Piet, I don't know. But yeah, lots of voice actor deaths in the last couple weeks.
I
don't know if you have anything to add to that.
Getting out while they can. No, not really. Peace. It's just sad.
It is. It's always sad.
I feel like a lot of people we know are going because we are getting of a certain age. And so it's like, all the people we grew up watching are getting to a certain age. So like, it's just, every now and then we're just going to get news of another like, oh no, not that one. Mm-hmm. So it's sad.
S6 backs with another Australian $5 or $5 Australian dollars. Says everyone keeps blaming Phil directly, or no, this is the entire executive leadership from Microsoft. I think we already fully discussed that.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm still putting a good chunk of the blame at his feet.
What's Bill Gates got to say about this? That's my question.
He's giving away his whole worth, I think, isn't he? Or no, that was that Warren Buffett. One of the two of them is like donating their entire.
Yeah, I know Bill Gates has a lot of foundations and such.
Yeah,
like he's generally pretty good at
he'll be okay.
Philanthropy.
Yeah,
I don't know. He needs to get back in there, fix Xbox.
I don't think it works that way, but sure. The artist formerly known as Fatcock donates $5. Says, hate to say it, but AI is the way of the future and will come no matter how much people argue against it. Like factory automation. Well, I have one word for you, sir. Terminator. Arnold Schwarzenegger will stop it. Don't you worry. He's already waiting in the future. He's fighting for all of our rights.
Arnold Schwarzenegger is?
Yeah.
I agree. I agree with the sentiment. Yes, AI is coming, but only because the 1% is forcing it. This is not like a natural progression of society. Like this is being very much forced upon us against all, like most people's will, I'll say.
I think the AI industry is going to have the most explosive, exciting crash, and all these people that invest billions of dollars into it are going to end up in suburban houses like mine and be very unhappy.
Do you hate your house? What do you mean?
No, I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that, but I just want them to be unhappy. I want people that are trying to ruin creativity to just be unhappy. I don't want you to be happy.
That's fair. What if they just learned a lesson? What if they got like Scrooged and they got visited by
you can't learn after you have a certain amount of money. I don't think you can learn a lesson.
I don't know.
Like you can get kicked in the balls and just go to the doctor and pay them $10 million and it'll feel better. It's fine.
You still got kicked in the balls though.
But I had $10 million. It doesn't really bother me.
I don't think money works that way. I'm not a rich man, but I'm pretty sure money doesn't work like that.
Have you ever heard a person with $10 million complain about being kicked in the balls?
Kick him in the balls and find out. It's an experiment for the class.
Jonathan Ross says, you're still going to walk away funny after being kicked in the balls, Nick. Well, still had $10 million. I don't think those people feel anything anymore. I just don't. I think once you have that much money, it's like, yeah, you hurt me, but I'm still rich.
It's not impossible, but I'm just gonna say unlikely.
Yeah, very fair. S6 back with another 10 Australian dollars says, as someone who works with executive teams in big organizations, in my opinion, whoever approved the Activision Blizzard acquisition should be fired. That was an insane purchase price, even for the COVID era boom.
It was insane. That was insane. It was exciting though, guys. Remember how exciting that was?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I'm sure there's clips that people could go back to, like, you said this about that and all that, and like, or, you know, I naively hoped that those teams would get some freedom under Xbox because of all the things Phil Spencer was saying, but lo and behold, we are getting Call of Duty Black Ops 7 this year, so no, that is not the case.
Like that's the thing.
I think if you hit the number 7 in a franchise, you should just stop.
Unless you're Final Fantasy, then you keep going.
Yeah, but those
go even harder.
But those every single one of those games is just different in some form.
Fair enough. Well, they should just do that with Call of Duty. I think that could work for them.
They tried that
gameplay, but
people complained.
Yeah, people hated it. Yeah, you're right. I don't know. I'm being very optimistic about this sort of thing because I was very much excited about the prospect of that acquisition, mainly because of everything that was going on with Activision Blizzard and, you know, Bobby Kotick and whatnot.
Yeah.
That just seemed like the best way to finally deal with that piece of garbage. And also, you know, the bolstering of the Xbox library and Game Pass, blah, blah, blah. Like on paper, it all sounded really good. And honestly, Phil Spencer made it sound really good. And the way he'd been running Xbox prior to that made it sound really good. But the reality was once it happened, everybody else got involved. Like it was too big for Phil Spencer. All the other bigwigs now had something to say. And it was kind of the beginning of this shitty ass trajectory.
Yeah.
So again, I feel like I keep trying to absolve Phil Spencer of all the stuff in here. But like, to me, it just feels like it's all around him and not him in particular. So I don't know. I might have the Kool-Aid.
If you're that good at hyping people up, you should probably be working at the White House at this point.
No, let's not do that.
Blister Soul donates God, this world sucks. Blister Soul donates $2 to stop killing games. Exec. Okay, so they'll never live. $100 million later, sure. Gildanite Tech donates $5 says, just how far into the future are we talking? The recent Meta 3S Xbox collab suggests they all want us cloud gaming on augmented reality over Xbox Live. It's just a branded headset, right?
Yeah,
Xbox UI. That's all I've heard about it.
Yeah,
I know it sold out almost immediately.
But the thing is, the last version that doesn't have Xbox colors can do everything it does, I think. Like, I don't think this does anything new or specific to Xbox. Like, you can still get to Game Pass via the regular MetaQuest 3. Which is cool.
Know.
Like, I think it's a cool thing, but yeah. I have it too, so I can't try this yet. Try this out.
Fungus Finder donates $2. Says, say one nice thing about poor sweet little Microsoft.
I feel like we've said a lot of nice things about Microsoft. Like I believed in them. Like I wish this company.
That's not very nice. You believed
about his games. Yeah. No, I wish. Like I love their franchises. Like I love their brands. I love their ecosystem. I wish they did. Like I wish they cared about their stuff as much as we, the people who play their stuff, care about it. But it doesn't feel like it.
Yeah, I think we were all excited just a few weeks ago at the Xbox showcase. Like, I want Xbox to
They had a really great showing.
I want them to be an exciting publisher. It's just, it's hard to get behind it when they keep making these layoffs and stuff. And like, I'll just keep coming back to Hi-Fi Rush. Like, it's just all the praise, everything for that game. Game of the Year contender, everything. And they get shut down for it. Like, and
it was like their first one after like a string of like misses. Like this was the first thing that came out, and folks were like, "Hey, check out what Xbox is doing." And they just like it's like, how many times can you shoot yourself in the foot? Like, is there any foot left? Like,
no,
goddamn.
they're climbing up the leg very quickly. They are at the kneecap right now. I don't know. The true Mandalorian says the harsh truth is it didn't hit mainstream, but it wasn't supposed to. That's what Game Pass is for. That's what they keep telling us. They keep telling us Game Pass is the answer, that games don't have to sell 10 million copies to be worth doing. And it's clearly not true.
The way things hit the mainstream is word of mouth from the hardcore. Like, everyone wanted to play it. Everyone couldn't because Xbox was losing the console wars very badly. So, like, the majority of people had PS4s, and there was a thing buzzing on Xbox that they couldn't get.
And the True Mandalorian says, Nick, they are lying. Yes, we've been discussing this the entire episode, the True Mandalorian. Over they say one thing out one mouth, and they do the other thing the next day. We don't know. That's what I said. Xbox is a lot of smoke and mirrors. I never really know what they're going to do. And as my friends have aptly stated when we play Rainbow Six Siege, if we don't know what we're doing, the other team can't know what we're doing. I think Xbox lives by that same logic. If Xbox doesn't know what they're doing, then we can't know what they're doing. So we'll stick with that. Snake in the Garden donates £5, says, not just Xbox, but downstream. Romero Games just posted that they've been dropped by their publisher because of it. Our Irish dev scene had been growing. And yep, Romero Games was one of those Xbox-funded games that's gotten dropped. Which... John Romero, take your game to Kickstarter. Jesus, people will give you $10 million to make a game. People will do it for you.
I mean, if that's an option, yeah, I hope it's something
I don't know.
he can
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how big the game is. I don't know how big the budget is for whatever they were doing. All I know is they've been working on that thing for a while, and Brenda Romero, John Romero's wife, was on LinkedIn and social media saying, like, ridiculous that this has been pulled. Like, they hit every milestone they were supposed to hit on time, and they were just about to enter alpha, and now they've had to fire everybody at the studio.
Yeah, it's just never based on logic at all, which is the most frustrating part, because you do everything right, and then this sort of thing still happens to you.
Yep. Capitalism for you. I always hate when people are like capitalism. Like, no, like, I think just dumb executives that are just so greedy. Yes, capitalism. I'll just leave it there.
I mean, that's what it is. That's what it breeds.
Yeah. So, it is what it breeds. It breeds just corporate greed. Anyways, what have you been playing, Casey? What have you been up to this week?
I've not played a ton, but I did stumble ass backwards into a game on Hot Monday Energy called Swordship. Was in the account. I think you probably like picked it up. Like,
I picked it up during the Steam sale because I saw it and I knew you'd be interested in it. I didn't even say.
Oh, did you?
I just knew you would be the one to play it. And then you picked it for Hidden Gems, and I didn't say anything because I didn't want to gloat about it. But yes, I picked that specifically for you.
But yeah, it's essentially I want to say it's a roguelite. Yeah. To start off, but it's like a bullet hell light.
Yeah.
Where like but it's also sort of a thing where it's less about like dodging and returning fire to the enemies and more about positioning and getting the enemies to hurt each other. So like there are like zones where things will blow up or lasers that will track you, and then after a certain amount of time, like fire on that position. And it mixes that with this sort of fun shipping scenario where like you're like a boat that is carrying cargo. So like you'll have to be in certain positions to pick up cargo, and then be in other positions to drop that cargo off in the middle of the fray of like all these robots and drones and stuff that are trying to take you out. And it gets really, really hectic. It gets very stressful. And it's really effing fun. Like we ended up actually beating the game before the stream ended. Like it's a really short experience. It has one boss at the end. The boss is really good, but man, did I want more out of that. But I mean, there's tons of replayability that you can add because, like, again, it's a roguelite. So there are different builds that you can mess with the ship. There are modifiers that you can add to the runs as well. And there are like extra modes that make things harder because it was the normal mode that I finished it on, and then that unlocked the extreme mode or whatever. So really, really neat, tiny experience, but just endlessly fun. It was a game that I was thinking about several hours after I finished playing it, and was just like, yeah, I really wish there was like more like to look forward to in terms of like newer enemies, like more bosses to take on. But I may like if I get the chance, just pick it up randomly and like just try out like new builds and harder runs and stuff too, because like it's just a really really good time. I enjoyed it quite a bit.
Did you notice the release date of that game? How long ago it came out?
Oh yeah, like 2022. Yeah. So that's been out
completely under the radar.
For,
a true like, hidden gem.
Wild.
Thank you.
An absolute hidden gem. It's like is it still $1? Is the sale still going on?
Yeah, it's still $1 on Steam. So
yeah, so it's $1 right now. So if this looks like your sort of thing, go and get it because God, it was great.
And leave a Steam review that we sent you there because that's
yes, absolutely.
Did you ever play Thumper?
No, okay. I played something close to it, but not.
Yeah, I think if you like this, you would probably like Thumper too.
Yeah, because that was like rhythm based, though, right?
Rhythm based, yeah, but very similar kind of loop.
Yeah, I could Thumper try. I just never got around to it. That was like a PlayStation exclusive, right? Or
for a while, yeah. Did it ever come to Xbox? I know it's on VR.
I would love to try that. Wait, that's on VR like right now?
Yeah, Thumper's a VR game too. Yeah,
I will look for that.
it's really trippy in VR. Like don't.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
You know, don't take any certain drugs before playing that one.
But what about you?
42. King Dead 42 thought I was saying dumper. No, that is in the hentai category, and I don't go there.
No.
Yeah, so I have also been playing kind of the game that's going under the radar, Lost in Random: The Eternal Die. So
this is a sequel.
I think it's a prequel, actually. So the original Lost in Random is kind of like a 3D action adventure platforming game. The Eternal Die is completely different, and it is a top-down roguelite. Behold, I'm Nick's playing another roguelite. What a surprise there. But yeah, I haven't been able to like latch onto a game for the last couple of weeks. I think I've been kind of gamed out after going back to back with big games again. But this one I got hooked on pretty quickly because like it just feels really good to play. The voice acting is really good. I need to look up who the main voice actress is, but I've heard her somewhere. But she is really good in this. Like, just immediately you want to listen to all of her dialogue. And all the characters are really zany and weird. Like, if you really like that, what's the art style it's based off of? Tim Burton
like
style,
kind of sort of stop motion, claymation.
Yeah, it doesn't have as much of that like it does in the original Lost in Random game. This is much more fluid, but still just a really fun roguelite. The one thing they do different is their kind of rune system, which are used like pearls, I think is what they call them in the game. So basically, you can collect a bunch of different runes that are different colors, and they can affect you like your stamina, your weapon damage, your power up, whatever, all that kind of stuff. And it's almost like a little mini game where you have to align like colors to get the big boosts out of them. So each one kind of has its own effect on its own. But then let's say you get three red boons across in a line, then the pearl will break, and then you get like a 50% damage bonus to your weapon proficiency, for example. And you can kind of keep mix matching all the different runes that you pick up. I'm just going to call them runes, relics, runes, whatever you want to fucking call them. Every roguelite has a different name for them, but
yeah.
But they get really cool like spell combinations. So, like I had one yesterday where like I could slow down time, and then as I slowed down time, it also poisoned the enemies as they were stuck in time. Or like so anytime you destroy an enemy, it sends out electric bolts to other enemies. There's just a lot of different mix matching that you can do, and I always love that element in roguelites where you can kind of create
like that synergy aspect, right? Where like all the things keep stacking. Do they implement any sort of limit, or is like, oh, you can build something incredibly broken that feels like you shouldn't be able to do this?
I haven't had a broken build yet. I've only gotten to the final stage once, and then I got whooped by the boss. But as the true Mandalorian asks, how brutal is the difficulty? I would say this is a good entry point for the genre, actually. Like it's not too hard. There's also story difficulty if you don't want the normal difficulty. So you can choose how you want to play it. But I would say like this is one of the easier ones to pick up and play and just understand very quickly, while also being a very, very competent and good game. Like I've had a really good time with it. It's actually on Game Pass too, so you can pick it up there.
Oh, neat.
And the stories.
Microsoft's pride and joy.
Yeah. Yeah. Gee, go support Game Pass if we just spent a whole hour shitting on it, but
no, I still believe in Game Pass.
I believe in the concept. I'm just concerned about it. But yeah. Just a really solid roguelite. I'm not done with it, so I can't really give a full confirmation on like whether I recommend the story or not. But like I said, the voice acting is good for all the characters. Like usually I just skip through the story in roguelites, and I haven't been with this one, so that'll kind of tell you something. Reminds me of like a lot of Hades and its storytelling of meeting all these different characters and lots of secrets to find in the world and bringing people back to your kind of homestead kind of thing, which unlocks more and more things as you go. So
yeah, from the visuals, it definitely favors Hades quite a bit.
Yeah, but I think that's really all I've been playing. I started watching Squid Game season 3. I haven't finished it yet. I can't say I was overly impressed with the first few episodes that I watched.
Yeah, where's that story going? Like, was 2 good? Like, did you like?
I like 2 a lot. 2? Yeah, I like 2 a lot. I think I personally have been okay if like Squid Game just ended after season 1. I felt like
it felt very done to me, which is why I guess I haven't felt the need to go to 2. But
yeah, 3. There's some plot lines that I'm not. I don't know. I don't want to say anything. It's so new. I don't want to spoil too much. But like, it's one of those shows that sometimes feels like it's just being mean to be mean.
You make a death game series, and then eventually the plot falls to the wayside, and it's all about the deaths. Yeah. And that's like Final Destination did it. Saw did it. Like the Hostel movies, I think.
And then tonight I want to go see the new Jurassic Park tonight. Sorry, Jurassic World.
I still haven't seen F1. Shit, I've been meaning to get out to the theater to watch that.
I can't see that.
Like
I thought you would been there. I thought you would have been there opening night.
I was planning to. I told my fiance and son this is what we're doing last Friday, but I've been so stressed all week with just other shit. I absolutely forgot. Just completely forgot. Wow. And didn't do it. I don't know. I got to go to Connecticut for like after this, we're driving straight to Connecticut for 4th of July. I need to figure out how to go to the movies over this break.
I'm going to get in my car and drive 30 seconds to the movie theaters down the street from me. Pretty nice. And they'll probably, you know what? It's like there'll probably be when I went to go see Ballerina for John Wick. There was my buddy and I and 2 other people in the entire theater. It was great.
Oh, but I was still
shit.
That's kind of bad for that movie though, right? That few people were in there to watch it.
It was opening night, so no, it was like early, not like a Friday
night,
like a
matinee type show or something like that.
Wednesday night showing, yeah, and those are always kind of not super full.
Yeah.
But I was, I've talked before on this podcast about being annoyed by people in movie theaters, and there were only 3 other people in that theater, and I was still annoyed. Specifically by my friend who kept looking at his phone, eating his candy, and I'm just like, you bastard.
At that point, you could have just moved to another further seat away from your own friend.
I'm just gonna go home. So yeah, I've been seeing all the different reviews for Jurassic Park, but Darren said it was okay, and that to me is that probably means I will like it.
That's enough.
It can't be worse than Jurassic World Dominion. It cannot be worse than Jurassic World Dominion.
That's a pretty low bar to jump over.
That movie and The Rise of Skywalker shouldn't exist. If we're gonna get rid of art, if we're gonna stop killing games, and movies or whatever it is, let's just keep killing those ones. I'm good with this.
I mean, they came out, they shit the bed. I think it's fine to let them stay where they are, which is just on everyone's bad side.
No, I have a physical copy of that thing, and it hurts me having it on my shelf.
Why did you do that? You didn't have to do that.
Listen,
you chose this.
I was in a bad place when that movie came out. I made bad choices in my life. I don't know what year
Jonathan. I see Jonathan Ross asking if I checked out the Lazarus anime yet. I actually did watch episode 1 earlier this week. I was very tired and kind of fell asleep halfway through it. It's not Lazarus's fault. So I'm gonna rewatch it. And I'll report back when I have more episodes under my belt. So sorry about that.
Sir George Lucas asked if I played Death Stranding 2 yet. No, I want to. All right, so I had kind of funny story. So I think I talked about my backlog last week where I started a bunch of different games, made the bad choice of doing that after I've already have a bunch of games on my backlog that I haven't gotten to finish, like Avowed and Eternal Strands and Hitman and a million other games that Assassin's Creed Shadows, all this stuff. Banishers.
I think it's okay to not finish games. I think I'm coming around to the idea of like, hey, I started this, I played a lot of it or a tiny bit of it. I liked it. I didn't like it. I don't need to go back.
That's the realization I came to Avowed this weekend. Is I was sitting there and playing it, and then I just stopped what I was doing and I looked at the screen and I said, I am not enjoying you, and I uninstalled it. And then I felt better.
Yeah, I played, I want to say like maybe 2 hours of Avowed. Like I wasn't really into it.
I'm
so,
like,
you know what?
I get so annoyed because I'm like, this is a game I should like. I'm just not engaged with you. I'm sorry. I had to let it go.
You know what? It happens.
Yep, and like Assassin's Creed Shadows, I'm like, I keep loading it up. I keep playing it for like an hour, and like all I'm doing is the same thing, fighting the same people over and over again, and listening to dumb dialogue that I have no idea what's going on. I think it's time to let you go as well.
At the risk of sounding like a corporate shill, I very much liked the time I spent in AC Shadows. I played, I want to say like 6 to 8 hours, but still just as Naue, because it didn't, the way that game is structured, at least in the beginning, like you don't get to the other character for a really long time. And it's really not clear how far you need to go or what you need to do before you unlock that. So at some point I kind of just drifted away because like I was waiting for that thing and it just felt like it would never happen.
Speakeasy says,
so I want to go back because I do want to get there, but I don't know if I will at this point.
Speakeasy yelling at me to stop playing mainstream stuff. Dog, I've been playing weird indie games every week. Don't you listen to this podcast? Jeez, leave me alone. But yes, I think I I did that list for like 4 years in a row of like all the games I completed. And I think I haven't really done it this year, even though I have completed a lot of games this year, just because like I felt like I was just doing it for the challenge and not enjoying all the games.
You were doing it so you could add it to the list as opposed to enjoying getting to the end of the game. Yeah, I get that.
Yep. And now there's just, but that even 4 years ago, there was enough games that I could do that list and not feel like I was missing out on stuff. And now there's so many games that I feel like I'm missing a lot of stuff. But yeah, I think a lot of the games I've started, like Assassin's Creed Shadows, Avowed, whatever it is, I'm even having a hard time struggling South of Midnight. It's just, I just got to be willing to put the stuff down. Like,
yeah, I've got to have probably like an hour left in South of Midnight. I just haven't had the time to go back. Maybe this weekend I'll use like my phone and do some cloud gaming and like finish that up.
Sometimes I get worried that all these roguelikes I'm playing, all these roguelites and roguelites are dumbing me just because they're very simple gameplay loops.
Well, just find better ones, because like that's the thing. Well, like the roguelite thing can be applied to like anything, and so like if someone just does something interesting with it, all of a sudden it's brilliant again.
Well, more so that I feel like those games have taken away my patience for drawn out narratives. And I feel like I'm becoming Jack, where I don't like story in video games and I just want good gameplay.
You played the altars that Yahtzee was going on about, right?
Yeah.
That had a good story.
Yeah. Yeah, and it wasn't too long. That's the good thing. But like, I think I may have just fallen out of love with like open-ended RPGs for a lot of them. I think it's just hard to get into those stories.
Get sucked into those.
Yeah, just because I'm not a big role player. You know, if you put me in Adventures Now, I'm probably just gonna kill everybody. So I don't know. Damien Glass says that's just called maturing. I thought maturing was like getting smart and playing Return of the Obra Dinn. I think I'm dumbing.
You know what? That happens to a certain percentage of the population, and you know what? We're gonna learn to be okay with that.
Yeah. Yep. I did like Expedition 33 too. I don't know.
I finished. I played that all the way to the end because I was obsessed with it. King's Dead 42 with a $5 dono says, if your friend is looking at their phone in the theater, it's your responsibility as a friend to slap them.
That's fair. I probably should have slapped him. I'll slap him
next time I see him. Slap them.
I'll slap him next time I see him, and he won't know why, and I'll just say, you know why.
That'll be like, fair. Fungus Finder with a $2 dono. Hey, Marty, did you finish Gurren Lagann yet? Marty's not here. Fungus Finder, what are you doing? You're just throwing money into the wind. I mean, we're taking it, the second wind, so yeah, there you go.
Yeah. He's down in the corner over there. I just realized Eric put a little picture of him with the Patreon thing. I'm going to take that face as saying no. And he was surprised that you asked him and upset now. And in his
Eric, why are you only putting up the fan servicey pics of Gurren Lagann? Gurren Lagann is an amazing series that is not just about boobs.
He's over there giggling in the background. He's here, Eric.
Like you're gonna make everybody think it's just a Gooter bait show. Show a goddamn robot or something.
Are the robots schooner bait?
Are we done? I think we're done. I think it's time to wrap up.
We are done. We are wrapping up. 7:30. So very we'll have better. We've got to have better things to talk about next week. Well, you're not going to be here next week.
I hope so. Yeah,
Marty.
Wait, no. I will be here next week. It's the week after I won't be.
Oh, okay.
No, I'll be here next week. It's the week after.
Marty won't be here next week either. He's skipping today and next week.
Yeah.
So save all your questions. Save all your questions for Marty for the week after next. He skipped out today because he was super busy with work. I think he's just playing a Switch, but that's if he's listening to the podcast, he'll yell at me later for that one. Cool. That's going to wrap it up for us on Firelink, episode 74. Of course, if you want to support the show, Patreon is the best way to do so. At the $5 tier, you can submit write-ins every week and have your weird things that you read out by usually Marty, me this week in my more sarcastic tone. Hopefully you enjoyed that. As far as other things we've got coming up, nothing else tonight. Tomorrow I'll have a new episode of Unpacked out, talking all about this Xbox situation, so if you want to hear even more ranting about that, tune in for that. I do like my headline for that episode. I think people will enjoy that. And then, that's it for me this weekend, because it's a holiday weekend that I don't feel like celebrating very much, but I might eat a hot dog and play some video games.
Yeah, I'm just taking a day off. Fuck whatever they want me to celebrate.
Yeah. And I don't think there's not a whole lot going on this weekend. I think a lot of us are kind of just chilling out this weekend, and then
it's a national American holiday, 4th of July, Independence Day. So it'll be pretty low key. Like no personal streams from me this tomorrow or over the weekend. Like I'm gonna be visiting some family, but I should be here for the full week next week of whatever streams are going on, and then I'm taking my wedding vacation, so wish me luck on that. Hopefully that goes as smooth as it possibly can, because it's been hell to get to this point.
Is it going to be cooler where you are going than it is here in the US?
No,
okay.
Probably not. I mean, at the very least, maybe there'll be maybe there'll be like a breeze from because it's an island, so maybe there'll be some sort of breeze. But
okay,
I don't know. It is an island, so it's gonna be hot.
Yeah, you love water though. Very toasty.
I'm looking forward to it. Finally, I'm finally excited about
water. I almost said Gulf of America, but I'm not going there.
Yeah, I will. The same way I still call it Twitter. It will always be Gulf of Mexico.
Yes. All right, cool. Well, thanks everybody for tuning in. Hopefully you had a good time. And of course, don't forget to subscribe on Patreon, like I said earlier. And you can find Firelink on all your favorite podcast services. I don't remember what else Marty says when he signs off, so I'm just going to say Hachi Machi, and we'll see you later.
Hachi those machis, everybody. Bye.